check. Good morning. Good morning. If there's an empty seat in front of you, please fill it up. If you have an empty seat in front of you, please move forward and fill it up. Except for our papa at the extreme left. Every other person, please, if you have an empty seat in front of you, kindly fill it up. Move forward so that those coming after will take the seats behind so we do not have distractions. Thank you so much as you do so.
You will need to do that.
Sound check, sound check, sound check, sound check. Okay, so everyone, please take your seats and ensure the seat in front of you is filled up.
Okay, good morning, shareholders. You're welcome to the annual general meeting once again. Can we all rise for the national anthem, please? Okay, good morning once again, shareholders. Let's start our meeting with our opening prayer. I will call on Barrister Adetitu. Senior Bola, please can you lead us with opening prayer?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Let's be upstanding. Father, in the name of Jesus, we bless you. We glorify your name. Be Jesus. We thank you for bringing us here this morning safely. In Jesus' name, Lord Jesus, we are inviting you to be the chairman of this meeting. Come and preside over this meeting yourself. let our deliberations today be acceptable to you. All that we will do today, Father, Lord, let it be to your glory and let it move our company forward to the glory of your holy name. In Jesus' mighty name I've prayed. Amen. Thank you.
Shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, the time is 10 a.m. and I have great pleasure in declaring this meeting open. In keeping with the advisory guidelines and directives of the World Health Organization, the federal government, and the Corporate Affairs Commission towards preventing the further spread of COVID-19 virus, this AGM is by proxy, as set out in the guidelines of the Corporate Affairs Commission, for which we received the necessary approval. Please be advised that this meeting is being streamed live on the company's website and YouTube channel, and it's also being recorded. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the directors of your company. On my immediate right is the Chief Executive Officer, Mrs. Uzomaka Oshogwe. Next to her is Mr. Ayodeji Adigun. On the extreme right is Mr. Obong Idion. To my immediate left is the company secretary, Mrs. Omoneme Obano. Next to her is Mrs. Agatha Obiekugo. And to the extreme left is Mr. Olubumi Akinremi. My name is Emmanuel Norom, the chairman of the board. Thank you very much. We also have with us representatives of the following regulators. First, Securities and Exchange Commission, represented by Mr. John Achille. First Commission, represented by Barrister Mrs. Olubumi Adekunte. Thank you. I also like to introduce to you representatives of the following organizations. The NASDI, represented by Ms. Chinwendu Eke, and Mr. Oludare Fajimolu. Okay, all right, thank you. Our external auditors are also here, present. Ernst & Young, represented by Mrs. Omolala Alebiosu. Thank you. The registrars, Africa Prudential PLC, represented by Mrs. Catherine Wosu. We also have our board evaluation consultant, Angela Aneke and Company Limited, represented by Mrs. April Anazodo. And then also we have members of the Statutory Audit Committee. We have Mr. Joshua Okore, the chairman. Alhaji Wahab Ajani, member. Ms. Moyo Shore Ayawinde, member. We wish to have a full recording of the meeting, so microphones connected to a tape recorder are in use. Kindly make use of the microphones closest to you when you wish to second a motion or ask a question. And please state your name clearly and endeavor to be brief and straight to the point. Let us not repeat what the other speaker has said. And please note that the register of directors' shareholding and register of attendance at board meetings of directors eligible for election are available for inspection at the registrar's table during this meeting. All information required about the directors seeking for re-election are also available in our annual reports with you. I will now call on the company secretary to read the notice of the meeting.
Good morning. Notice of annual general meeting. Notice is hereby given that the 9th annual general meeting of Afriland Properties PLC will hold on Thursday, 22nd September 2022 at Afriland Towers, 97-105 Broad Street, Lagos, Nigeria, at 10 a.m. to transact the following businesses. Ordinary business. To lay before the members the audited financial statement of the company for the year ended 31st December 2021, together with the reports of the directors, auditors, and audit committee thereon. 2, to declare a dividend. 3, to approve the appointment of Mr. Obong Idiong as the director. 4, to approve the appointment of Mr. Olubumi Akinremi as a director. 5, to re-elect the following directors retiring by rotation. 1, Mrs. Agatha Obiekugo. 2, Mr. Ayodeji Adigun. 6, to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors for the 2022 financial year. 7, to disclose the remuneration of managers of the company. 8, to elect members of the statutory audit committee. Special business. 9, to fix the remuneration of directors for the year 2022. Dated this 30th day of August 2022 by order of the board. Signed Company Secretary Omomene Obano. Note: 1, compliance with COVID-19 related directives and guidelines. Very well, thank you very much.
Shareholders, it is now time for me to read the chairman's statement, which is captured from page 13 to 16. Thank you, having waived this. I will now ask a representative of the auditors to read the auditor's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, distinguished shareholders, members of the board, the regulators here present, and members of the audit committee. Auditor's report starts from page 48 to 51 of the financial statements. With your permission, I will read the audit opinion, basis for our audit opinion on page 48, then proceed to page 41 to read the report on other legal and regulatory requirements. Do I have your permission, sir? Yes. Thank you. Independent auditors report to the shareholders of Afriland Properties PLC. Report on audit of the financial statement. Our opinion. We have audited the financial statements of Afriland Properties PLC, the company, which comprise the statement of financial position as at 31st December 2021, and the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, the statement of changes in equity and statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and notes to the financial statement, including summary of significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the accompanying financial statement gives a true and fair view of the financial position of Afriland Properties PLC as at 31st December 2021, and its financial performance and cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards, the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, and in compliance with Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act No. 6, 2011. Basis for our opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with International Standards on Auditing, ISAS. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statement section of our report. We are independent of the company in accordance with International Ethical Standards, Board for Accountants Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, IESBA Code, and other independence requirements applicable for performing the audit of the company. We have fulfilled our other ethical responsibility in accordance with IESBA code and in accordance with other ethical requirements applicable to performing audit of the company. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Page 41. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. In accordance with the requirement of the 5th schedule of the Companies and Allied Matter Act 2020, we confirm that 1. We have obtained all information and explanation which to the best of our knowledge and belief were necessary for the purpose of our audit. 2. In our opinion, proper books of account have been kept by the company insofar as appears from our examination of those books. And 3, the company statement of financial position and statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with books of account. Signed by Omolola Alebioshu on behalf of Ernst & Young, dated 30th of August 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, our auditors, for the clean reports. I will now ask the chairman of the Statutory Audit Committee to read the committee's report.
Thank you, Chairman. Standing on the existing protocol, I will refer us to page 46, where our report is. To the members of Afriland Properties PLC, in accordance with the provisions of Section 404, subsection 7 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, we, the members of the Statutory Audit Committee, hereby report as follows. 1. The Statutory Audit Committee met in exercise of its statutory responsibilities in accordance with Section 404, subsection 7 of CAMA. 2. We have examined the auditor's report, including the financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2021. 3. We have deliberated with the external auditors, reviewed their findings and recommendations, and confirmed that the auditor's report for this period is consistent with our review. And we are satisfied that the accounting and reporting policies of the company are in accordance with the legal requirements and meet ethical standards. Members of the Statutory Audit Committee as follows: Joshua Okori, myself, being the chairman, Alhaji Wahab A. Ajani, Ms. Moyo Shore Ayomide, Mr. Yodeji Adigo, and Mrs. Olayinka Ogunsulire. I signed this report, Joshua Okori, Chairman, Statutory Audit Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, members of our Statutory Audit Committee. Shareholders, I hereby lay before you the report on accounts for the year ended 31st of December 2021. You now have an opportunity to ask questions regarding the report and accounts. In doing so, it will help to ensure that we give the right answer if you refer to the page of the report and accounts to which your question relates. The MDCU and I myself and the board members will be pleased to answer questions which you may have on the report. So let's take numbers so that, okay, Ms. Bakare 1. 2 Hamza, okay, 3, then we'll come this way, 4, I get you to 5, no, don't worry, we're taking 3 here now, Mr. Boniface, okay, there's 6, so let's take the first 6 questions, the first 6 shareholders.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Board of Directors, regulatory authorities here present, my co-shareholders, good morning. My name is Mrs. Bisi Bakari. First and foremost, Mr. Chairman, I want to appreciate our company for inviting me for this meeting. I really appreciate it. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, I want to congratulate our company that in spite of the challenging business environment, our company recorded strong operating performance in revenue. I commend our company for having property portfolio size of over 12 billion, one of the largest in Nigeria. This is highly commendable. Page 5. Results at a glance. Well, as a shareholders, I commend our company that our profit before taxation moved from 1 billion to 1.6 billion. But Mr. Chairman, I don't know why our company pay income tax of 1.648 billion from 1.603 billion profits. Our income tax expenses is even higher than profit before tax. I think we need explanation for this, why we paid everything, even over the profit we made. Page 16. Board changes. I want to use this opportunity to wish the retired directors success in their future endeavors. Also, I want to use this opportunity to welcome our new directors, Mr. Obong Gideon and Mr. Olubumi Akinremi, to our company. You are highly welcome. I believe that our company will benefit from your wealth of experience. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Page 17. Mr. Chairman, on page 17, I read it that CBN disbursed the sum of 151.23 billion under the risk sector facility. I commend CBN for this. But Mr. Chairman, I want to ask that how much was allocated to our company, Afriland Properties, from this fund? And again, how far have we applied the fund to our business growth? Page 78. Page 78, note 4. Fees and commission. Mr. Chairman, I noticed that facility management moved from page 78, yes. Facility management moved from 48.263 million to 47.8 million. I think we need to improve on this and also to review our fees to cover our running costs. Also, I noticed that our project directorate moved from 48.4 million to 342.117. This is very good. I commend the management for this, and I hope, or I urge us to sustain the level of profitability we made so far on the project directorate. Page 113. That's on our notice of annual general meeting. Getting to this page, I thought our company will use this opportunity to have a resolution there under the special business. That is concerning our unissued share capital, which CAC has given us deadline as. Anyway, I just want to ask that what are we doing regard to our companies on issue share capital? Our CAC deadline is 31 December 2022 for all companies to comply. like I said earlier, I thought our company will use this opportunity to do that, or maybe we don't have any. Would like to know if we. Okay, we don't. Oh, thank you. Lastly, Mr. Chairman, I want to ask that what step is our company taking for the availability of our shares in the market, because our shares is not available from the market, and I can see that from the holdings of our directors, because our directors, they are not the type of directors that we have less than 1,000 units of our shares, but the shares is not available. So I don't know what we are doing to make availability of our share in the market. Once again, thank you for the opportunity given to me. God bless you all.
Thank you. Number 2.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity given. My name is Prince Hamza Ridwan. Mr. Chairman, you can come, and if there is any title, I'll talk to the His Royal Highness to give you something. Mr. Chairman, I would not want to take much of our time. Most of the things I noted Mrs. Bakari has spoken to. But then on page 5, I'd like us to, next time, just include percentage variance, the results at a glance. Then on page 5 again, I marry with page 113, which is the notice of annual general meeting, note 2. Mr. Chairman, we are declaring a dividend from an EPS of minus 0.3. That shows that we have saved for the rainy days. We made hay while the sun shines. So please, let's give them a round of applause. Having said that, Mr. Chairman, I go to page 30, from 30 to 32, which talks to directors' attendance at meeting. It is a very wonderful one, and I urge you to keep it up. Please, let's give them another round of applause. On that note, Mr. Chairman, I would like to wish the retired directors well in their endeavors, future and present, while I welcome especially my good friend, Obong Idiong, who started out here as the company secretary. It's a welcome home. But then, he was a messenger of the board. Now, he now has a messenger to himself. So, Mr. Obong, your wealth of experience, which the foundation was actually here. I'm sure that upon your arrival, you are going to add serious value to this company. Thank you very much. And the other man, welcome. Others, I wish you well. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm Adele Kiola Dimeji. All protocols duly observed. Chairman, I'm very delighted to be here today and to be part of this meeting. You have been a very good friend of the company right from its start. And when Obong was the company secretary, and we welcome him back home. That is now part of the company after leaving for APR. We are so happy for this account, though the company is at loss and we are paying our dividend out of reserve. But to my own observation, to my own school of thought, I don't see a good reason why we should be paying dividend out of reserve. Because if what persists this year happens next year, are we still going to put into our reserve and pay dividend again? It shouldn't be so. So that is my own school of thought. That's what I believe in. But we have another thing I would like to congratulate you about is on the renegotiation of the Falomo shopping complex building with the new governor when the former governor terminated the contract. I'm so happy when I heard that they have renegotiated the contract, but it was not mentioned in this annual report. I would like to know how far we have gone with the Falomo shopping complex, and please, when that building is completed, please, I would also like to own a shop there. Put me in mind. Okay, and looking at this account vividly, if you combine page 52, page 84, and page 80, especially note 19, you realize that what puts us into this negative is our issue of tax. And that one I would like to ask on page 82. I have this impact on capital gain tax that grew from 8 million last year to 94 million this year. Please, what is the reason? I'm talking about page 82, note 10.1. Impact of capital gain loss, impact of capital gain tax. I believe, and this was why I will now throw the question, who is our tax consultant? Who negotiates our tax with us? I think we should not be paying this kind of high taxes. Also, another thing I would like to talk about is the issue of our advertising. We are doing a business that deals with buildings, and if we look at this in this aspect, most of our target audience are the Hellites, that set of people that use the internet and very conversant with what is happening over the globe. And compared to our competitors, if you see APR, United Capital, they are so very, very conversant in using the internet. Even you see all of their daily activities being posted on their Instagram page. But the Afriland that should have explored this kind of avenue, I think we are not doing too well in these aspects. Please look vividly into it, and so that we can be able to tap into it. Most of the buildings that I see that we are selling here, I'm just saying it in this book. These are things that we should be posting online. At least, if we are doing it online, and this is a PLC complaint, especially Nigerians in the diaspora, will be able to look into it. They will just get their lawyer to come and visit it, and they paid. It goes a long way. Also, I observed that this account, I would also like to tag to the office of the company secretary. This account was sent to us in due date, and this gives me a lot of opportunity to go through it and to digest it, and to understand vividly where we are. And also, if you can also tap into other real estate opportunities around Ajah area, there are a lot of small building, small complaints that they are doing build and sell, and they are really making waves in it. So if Afriland, the PLC complaint, can look into that, it will be
Shareholder Association of Nigeria, member of GS Shareholder in Africa. I sincerely appreciate you, my chairman, because I represent professional investor in this meeting today. Because I'm a professional in many fields. Permit my chairman, because you are a professional together. The report is excellent.
Thank you.
And not to that, when you look at the report thoroughly, I have some area I need a clarity. I'm standing on a existing protocol. Page 5, you give a result at glance. But I like to ask one question, sir. When we had a meeting within our people, they sent me to us. We like to know the dividend policy of this company for people to be able to plan for nearer future. Because we are, you do a lot of things that is impressing us. Because if you are referred to page 32, 53, 52, and 53, financial statement and the financial position, we observe that the profit before tax is increasing, which means there is an increase in all angles, and we try to manage the cost. It's only the area of tax that something is, you do certain things, that's why we are negative. paying the dividend is allowable during the law, according to the law. But we like to know the dividend policy. We'll be able to plan on it very well, sir. We observe the area of corporate governance, board attendance, really is excellent. The board attendance is excellent, and I need to appeal to the new director. We know them, starting from Mr. Obon, very excellent man, and I believe, and Mr. Olubumi, we expect you to add more value for us to have a bomber dividend. My chairman, our people are expecting Naira dividend by next year. I think you can do a wonder within that area. Page 80, rental incomes, is impressive because it moved up from that direction. We appreciate you, and we know, please, sustainability is needed, because this time around we have a climatic changes where there's a lot of things affect or not drive. Please, I want you to use all the opportunity within the window to improve the profitability aspect. Sir, I like to ask one question as a professional. In area of your donation, we want to know why the management are not put certain things in the area of donation this year. I don't know the challenge we have, and if there is, we like to know area we put onto, because there's a lot of, you normally move to a lot of area that people need it, and area we are able to touch. Now, before the final one I observe, page 95, I observe in direct office, you use double standard and achieve the same result. Page 95. Yes. Double standard and achieve the same result. I like to ask, you know, the emolument of directors. Chairman 3554, and when you come down, you still put 4750. The same result up, the same result down. I would like to know why double standard. The reason for the up and the reason for the down. Why there's we achieve the same result, but explanation please needed. Page 113, I can say it. You put some picture there. We sincerely appreciate it. But a picture of our investment, sir, the nearest one, we like to have it here to be a part of advert in all angles. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Hello. Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning.
Other board members here present, and those participating virtually, the regulatory authorities here present and those participating virtually, my fellow distinguished shareholders here present and those participating virtually, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Barrister Adetutu Shinyombola. I'm the president of Highly Favored Shareholders Association. Mr. Chairman, I have some observations, comments, questions, and suggestions on Afriland Properties PLC 2021 annual report. With your kind permission, I will quickly run through them. On page 5, results at a glance, I will skip it because the previous speakers have spoken on it. But I have an observation there. I said, my observation there is that I observe a drop in our profit in the year under review. I want to seize this opportunity to encourage the board and the management for their efforts and implore them to do more. So take our companies back to profitability. The second point is from page 6 to page 9. The beautiful faces and the profile of the board of directors. I observe that we have 3 ladies as directors out of 8, which amounts to 37.5%. This is commendable. Please keep it up. The third point is from page 9 to 12. The beautiful faces and profile of the executive management. I also observe that we have 5 ladies in the management team out of 10, which amount to 50%. I can see that our company is gender sensitive, gender friendly. This is commendable. Please keep it up. On page 16, board changes. I want to skip that because the previous speaker has spoken on it. From page 29 to 35, attendance at board meetings and board committee meetings. I want to skip that because previous speaker has spoken on it, because I observe 100% attendance. This is commendable. Keep it up. On page 40, charitable contributions and donations. I observe that there is no breakdown of the sum 26.8 million naira spent for charities in the year under review. It wasn't reported anywhere in our report. I'm talking about the breakdown. Why? We should report the breakdown going forward. On page 53, statements of financial position. Trade and other receivables under current assets reduced from 2.2 billion naira to 1.5 billion naira. This is commendable. Prepayments also reduced from 35.8 million naira to 27.03 million naira in the year under review. What are the modalities in place to recover the shortfall? To recover the shortfall from our customers to the barest minimum, so that it will not end up as bad debts that will be written off. Then trade and other payables under current liabilities also reduced from 3.2 billion naira to 2.8 billion naira in the year under review. How do we intend to pay these debts to our creditors? The last point, I observe that we have used our annual report judiciously to advertise all our products. This is commendable. Please keep it up. Thanks, and God bless you richly for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I think a lot of people have made progress for this annual report, and I'm not going to take your time. Rather to advise that, there's a room for progress. The cost of doing business in Nigeria is getting worried. Today, lack of purchasing power is still there. For the masses, you cannot even buy the houses. You that are building, today, cement is almost 4,000 something per bag, 50 kilo bag of cement. So if you look at it, sound is almost 50 something thousand. A trailer load of sound, not of granite. Things are gone haywire. For you to be in business of building and rod, that one no-go area. And I mean, that is where the loss is. Even if you build, who is buying it? Who is buying it? I know a company that have put up advertorial to sell a house in Abuja. For how many years now? Nobody's bidding, nobody's buying. And they talk about what they are looking for. If individual goes there, ESCC will come after them. That's the problem we're having in this country. Except somebody in diaspora that will bring the money to come down here to buy such. And that's why people say, put this in online, so that people abroad can go through their lawyers in Nigeria, because a lot of them are going to investment properties. That's the only way we can make it. But looking at those in Nigeria here today, in those days, those with the oil company and the bankers are able to buy the property, but it's no more. It's no more. Because the purchasing power is no longer there. The naira is worthless. That's what I'm talking about. But thank God that Afriland property is still coming up to showcase buildings in various towns and cities in Nigeria. Mostly in Abuja, I want to commend you for what's been shown here. That you have in Abuja, in Port Harcourt. That's also go to Enugu, Kano, Kaduna, most cities. But even if you go to Kano, how many people are buying property in those areas? That's also a problem, challenge. They don't buy. They don't buy. Even in Port Harcourt, I know those who are buying it. So, Mr. Chairman, I can understand why the laws are there. Even though if you are going for rental, the tenant will not even pay. Some of them are landlord and landlady here, they experience in their houses. Nobody pays. If you go to court, that's thy kingdom come. Until the court advocate, they will stay there. They can't throw them out because the matter is in court. So, Mr. Chairman, we must find other device means to make sure that, the average man, the middle class, will be access to have these properties. If you build nobody purchasing them, then it become a problem and will go into loss. Because what money you have borrowed from the bank to put, you are not selling it, there's no way you cannot record loss. That's where we are. Somebody thought about, Falomo that was not reported here. We also want to ask, how far have we gone in that building? In less how many years will you see that property come, for rentage? My brother has asked that, you should reserve a shop for him. So until it comes up, we will not know what's going on there. So let us know how far have we gone, with the Lagos state government. If not there some assault policy, that building would have been spring up today. Maybe would have been leasing them out and make money. So this is the country we find ourselves in. People who want to make, the people talking about taxation, that's what government is concerned. They are not concerned about your progress, how you are surviving. You must pay tax. Not everything tax. And the government is not utilizing those tax for the benefits of their citizens. They steal it and go abroad and buy houses. And when you build here, they're not even buying it. They go to Dubai and buy. I'm saying this loud and clear. That's what's happening in this country. So the beautiful houses we are seeing here in this annual report, being built by this company, why Nigeria are not buying them? Why are they going to Dubai and invest and buy there? It's a problem here. And we're looking at the foreigner to come and develop our economy. We can make progress, Mr. Chairman. So I'm sympathizing with the management and the staffs who are working hard, Mr. Chairman, I want to also say in page 81, I think I'm closing from there, the expenses. Page 81, the expenses, administrative expenses. I've said it earlier, cost of doing business is high, but we need to watch our expenses. You look at insurance premium, industrial training fund. What are they doing? Police trust fund levy, you pay. Industrial training fund levy, you pay. Information system levy, you pay. Can you imagine? Insurance, social insurance trust fund, you pay. Nigerian housing fund, what are they doing? These are taxes. If you put this money together, there's no way we cannot make profit. But you go to regulatory agencies, government. This is a problem we are seeing here. Mr. Chairman, my worry here too, in audit fees, which I see in page 92, conflicting. This audit fee here, 10 million, previous was 7 million. But you go to page 92, we are saying 3 million. How much did we pay for auditors? How much did we pay for auditors? So we need to harmonize those figures. It's conflicting, but I would take that what we pay is 10 million from 7 million previous, they added. And I'm saying that, 30 million increase is too much. Even if there's any need to add, to increase, it shouldn't be 30 million from 7 million. We should watch it. Mr. Chairman, having said that, I think this company will go places if buyers are ready available. And when we build, we sublet it, or we lease or rent, and the money is coming in, we will pay dividend by God's grace. And I pray that the good Lord will help us, that the economy will bounce back. Let this government go away. We will come back to take back our country and rebuild the country, so that the company operating will do very well. The economy is why we are not doing well. If the economy does well, you do well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What we'll do, we'll take 2 more comments one from this side, one from the other side, and then we'll have a concluding one from Sir Sonny Wosu that just came in. So let's take one more from here. Sir. Yeah. So what?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All protocols duly observed. The name is Dr. Anthony Omani Yomajola, the current National Coordinator, Independent Shareholder Association of Nigeria. Much has been said, so I will restrict myself strictly to some areas that have not been touched. I'm going to be anti-clockwise, starting from page 112. Looking at the 5 years financial report, I see a level of stability in the company. And why I say this, I've seen the growth in the assets, which have moved from 5 years ago from 7.1 billion. It's now at 10.01, even after we have just done some debt equity swap. The same thing happened to our retained earnings, which has moved from 3.7 to 6.2. And lastly, our revenue too has grown from 1.475 in 2017 to 1.62 billion in the current year under review. This is a very good result, and I urge the board and management to keep it up. On page 111, trying to appraise the value-added statement, I see that we are doing well there, but I want to encourage us to improve more, because the application, and previous year the employees were given tax, and the government were giving 37%. That's reduced to 35% in the current year, and I want it to grow in that line, so that in another 2-3 years we can be talking of 20 to 25%, so that we can have more retentions. It is when you have more retentions that the growth of the company will be enhanced. Okay, I won't say much about the segmental reporting. You've actually analyzed that one very well on page 108. I like the first segment. The two of the earlier speakers has alluded to the fact that even when you are doing the marketing, what you can ask you to do is to improve on your mode of doing the marketing. Because of the lack of the purchasing power, not much is being done in the property market this time around. On page 95, okay, from 94 to 95, I borrowed details, and specifically on note 27.21, note 27.2.1, where we gave up properties to settle our debts. And I found out that we considered 172.47 million loss. The question is that, are we under pressure to do this? Or because of the knowledge of the board and the management, what is the inherent value addition we gain by this payment, where we have tried to settle most of the outstanding debt there by giving up our property. On page 38, looking at the director's report there, firstly, I appreciate the fact that 7 directors board, and they're doing a wonderful job, which I personally commend them. Looking at it seriously, we have an executive director, the rest are non-executive. But given the demand of CAMA 2020, there's need for 3 independent non-executive directors. So my advice is that since we already have 2 there, there's need to convert 1 non-executive director to independent non-executive director. And if you want to balance the directorship, we advise that we hire 2 more. 2 more, so that 1 executive to assist the managing director, then 1 non-executive, and I would suggest that one will come for the private shareholders that is looking onto this side, so that we balance the board. Having said that, I'm not good at repeating what others have said. I put so much down here, but I've seen that those are the ones I say are the most valuable ones. Thank you for the opportunity to be invited.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, this way. The 3rd line here. No.
No, I will stand.
Okay.
The chairman, sir, board of directors, all protocols observed. The name is Chief Shotunde Shokpeju of the Beacon Shareholders Association. Most shareholders have spoken our minds, and when you go through what they have said, they are all sayings of wisdom and understanding. I will start with a short prayer that, Lord, the creator of mankind, forgive us all our foolish ways and endure the directors more knowledge than we can understand on this side of the divide. Sir, on the page 5 highlights, financial highlights, we saw that you made money, but when you had to pay capital tax, deferred tax, and some other things, it looks as if we had shortfall somewhere. I still pray that all things that are good are by prayers, and those that need to be buckled up is also by prayers. Our shareholders have asked one question, that what is your mode of payment for dividend? A man does not know the yam that he has planted will be big or small. It depends on what comes out of it. You cannot formulate at this stage what you think will be the percentage you will be paying. It depends on the profit and loss you are going to make. And one old chairman of one of the companies, he has retired now after 90 years of age. When we keep on asking him, say, Papa, when do you expect to retire from the board? The man told us that he is always happy to come to AGMs because of the jokes and some other things, the questions we ask, and when he gets home, he is always happy and not stressed. Then we ask him another question. Why do you keep on giving us the same amount as dividend? He says, he belongs to one of the companies of the big something. But those who did not understand the policy of giving a little amount or fairly average dividend said the man was Ijebuik. Whereas it is when you eat some and you save some for the rainy day, that is what is really good for the companies. So I will tell you, those who have asked you to make the dividend too bounty, that you watch what the future will look like. As a result, I thank the external auditor, because I used to be very furious with her. Why? EY is always doing a good job, but at the same time, their charges are always high. But this time, what do? He who does a good job, you don't let the sweat be dry before you pay. Ernst and Young, please, when you do your good job, always understand that we on this side, we want to partake in the dividend culture. Therefore, don't charge too much. Be considerate with us. With the audit, with the corporate governance, people have told you that you are 100% and it is satisfactory. I wish people keep up the game and keep up attending the various board meetings and the committee of the board. The very funny one I had interest in was the risk management, which was done on a thorough basis. Thank you for good job, and may God bless you and make you perform bountifully in future.
Thank you, sir.
Obon idiom. Kenko confio. Emedi namuto me edi phone no yin. Yini yoboko. And Akiremi, wọ́n ti pè ọ́, ó ti wá, ibi tó ti wá yìí, ṣiṣẹ́ taratara àti tọkàntọkàn. Àwọn arúgbó nìyó, they said before the children is 20, we are going to eat 30. Kọ́mọ tó jogún àwa àjọgbọ̀n. I am on my aging side. I will be 90 on 4th of August next year. And I wish Afriland will be one of the sponsors. Amen. In God's name, I pray that we will be there next year.
Thank
God
you, sir.
helping us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning.
Okay. Sir Sonny Wosu.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am happy being able to attend this meeting. When I was coming in, I remember in those old days when Mutalab and all the managing directors of them come through here. Even KJ Fort used to be here. This used to be our registrar department. Everything about shareholders we enjoy here. Yeah. And I feel somehow, but if you look at Broad Street, it's no longer what it used to be. Everywhere is dirty. All hawkers and all this. I don't know how you are managing to remain here. You know, so I'm sure you are going to put in a lot of work to maintain the stability of this place. In front there, you see people asking for dollar, pound. They've taken over the frontage of this building. So you have to do something about it. Okay. Because anybody coming to patronize us must look at the environment first to know whether we are maintaining here. Therefore, whatever we are offering them will also be looked in that respect. So, you see, there is a picture here on, there's a picture on page 2 of the annual report. Emporium.
So 5.7 million. You need to do more explanation on this. Is it going to be managed by Afriland? So these are informations that are not here, that is necessary for the shareholders to understand this offer, that they don't have to go to Port Harcourt to manage the property, the investment. So please, when you are addressing the shareholders, speak more on it so that we can understand it. The very important one is, we are talking about housing gap in the country. Can we meet the housing gap without a government budgetary allocation to housing, to enable you give out loans, enable the banks to give out housing loan to people? And importantly too, we are building high-class building, flats and all this, and housing. But what we need in this country is middle-class residential buildings. That will help us further. Now, if you are talking about a house of 158 million, how will middle-class people be able to access such a thing? So we need a middle-class building of 2-bedroom flats and all this and that, so that they'll be very happy and they will access it. And until government makes available budgetary allocation for housing that will take care of that, there's no way we can close the gap. The gap continues to widen every day. We used to have Nigerian Supply Company or something like that during Shagari time that imports building materials and all this and that. So if you go to the market today, iron rod, you can't get it what it used to be 2 weeks ago. So there is need for government intervention in the housing sector. So I don't know whether we have any of representative of government here who can take a message and messages down to government. It's very important. We cannot succeed in closing the gap without government intervention, just like agriculture. So it's very necessary that those of you in that club should continue to push for government intervention, especially on materials, to simplify your ambition of closing the gap. The gap continues to get wider every day. So yesterday there was a debate on the TV about this. Very serious debate on it. How do we close the housing gap? Without government intervention, it's just like a Greek. Without budgetary allocation, there's no way companies can do that. The other way you can do it is to go for bond. I mean, this is the only company of the legacy of Elumelu that have not accessed the market since it was allocated to shareholders. So we need bond, a cheap funding, for you to be able to pursue your ambition in closing the gap. It's very important. Obong have gone to raise money from the market, either once or twice, but you have never gone to the market to raise money. So there is need for you to approach the market and get some cheap funds that will help you to bring down the cost that you are carrying. It's very, very important, either by public offering, because you have never done public offering before, or through right issue. You know, but bond is very important because that gives you a peace of mind more than the one that you give, having pressure to pay dividend to shareholders. I am one of those who wants dividend. You can see me now, the way I am. So I need a lot of dividend. So I wonder, your 5 kobo cannot help me. So therefore, I'm pleading that you should find a way to get more money to do more businesses in order to generate profit. That's very important. I look at, we have properly used this, and I want to thank the chairman, who is shareholders man, for creating a lot of pages here to showcase his shareholders. I am happy about that. And I hope that it will even expand to paying good dividend, apart from the pictures. Good dividend that will enter our pocket. You heard Chief Shokweju? So we are all in that class that we want to eat too, before any other thing. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you for your love for shareholders.
Thank you, sir.
I also want to thank you for your concern about my health. I recall that you sent delegates to me to come and see me. I was very happy. Those physical things that you are doing actually helped me to come up much better. Apart from that, I had to travel out of this country for medical treatment. You know. Even then, Well, I have to appreciate that, and I'm sure you also appreciate Chief Shopeju's appeal to be a special guest at his 90th birthday. So I also look at the picture of our MD here. There's a picture of the MD. I don't. There's no. So, okay, but I want pictures to reflect the people we are looking at. If you look at Amaka's picture there, it doesn't reflect a beautiful lady that she is. Just go to page 16, you will see the picture.
His makeup.
If you look at that picture, I think next time we need a good reflection of our directors in pictorial. It's very important. In this case, now somebody will say, "Is that your MD? Is she sick?" Or something like that. So, I think also look at it yourself. Page 16, just look at it. You are looking at it. Does that reflect you as you are now? Okay. Okay, let us have a good picture.
Okay, thank you.
So that we can recommend, if you are not being taken care of, it is the shareholders that will shout. We know what to say. So, Mr. Chairman, I also like to welcome the new directors that came on board. But, like I said, that you are a shareholders man, please ensure that we have a representative of the minority shareholders on the board, so that we will have a better communication line with our representative, even though by corporate governance, no director is supposed to disclose whatever is discussed at the board to other people. But all the same, you know, we have sense of belonging by having our representative on the board. I'm sure that if we have 3 kobo as earning per share and we are paying 5 kobo, we must have taken money from reserve to make up that. But it's not a good practice because very soon we deplete the whole reserve. So we have to ensure that, you have to ensure that your co-directors are well taken care of to bake more bread, more cake for us to share than depleting the reserve. Reserve is not easy to build because once it's depleted, you have to struggle to ensure that you replace whatever is taken from there. Mr. Chairman, I'm actually not allowed to talk too much, but I think I've made my point.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So I want to thank you again and the board again. God bless all of us.
Thank you, sir.
By the time we are meeting next time, we will have improved results, improved dividend, and everything improve.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, in Jesus' name.
Amen. Okay, thank you, shareholders, for all the comments made. I want to take some of them, and the CEO will also discuss some. BC mentioned about the invitation to her. Just because of the COVID process that's made it necessary for us to be using proxy the last 2 years or so. But I believe God, now that COVID is almost out, you know, by next year we should have a much more fuller board meeting for every shareholder to be present. So now the issue of tax has been said severally. Thank you, shareholders, for the observation. But if you look at page 82 of the annual report, there are 3 components in this tax. One is that's note 10. One is the company income tax, which certainly have to be paid in line with the Company Income Tax Act. Then you have the education tax, capital gains tax. But the one that is actually the biggest there is the deferred taxation, where you have 1.3 billion, so that the whole tax charge to PNL is 1.6 billion. The deferred tax is not an immediate liability. It's a deferred tax calculation that our auditors or tax consultants normally do calculations based on accounting standards. It's not an immediate liability, so it's not like we're paying out that amount of money. All right, next year it will reverse, because as you keep on acquiring assets, there are changes in the value of the assets. For those who are on the accounting side of the profession, you have a depreciation policy, which is based on the decision you've taken on how to depreciate assets over a period. But you also have the capital allowances given by the tax authorities, which is not based on your depreciation, but the standard in across all the industries. So usually there are variances between those calculations over the period. And so you just have the deferred tax. In one moment it could be a debit, in another moment it could be a credit. If you look at last year, it was actually a credit. So it's not anything for shareholders to worry about, which means that if we are looking at the real profit after tax we have, between the profit we made and the company income tax, education tax, and capital gains tax, we really have surplus. So please, I just want to say that. But since it's an accounting standard, you have to do and get your earnings per share and all of that reflected. That's why it shows a negative, but it's not effectively that our profit after tax was actually negative as such. So the dividend we were paying actually is 10 kobo, not 5 kobo. You know, we felt that shareholders also must have some returns. You know, in this difficult economy, you know, a lot is required, you know, for us to keep on ensuring that we'll have returns coming back to the investors. We have noted all the issues raised by, further issues raised by Mrs. Bakare, and on page 17, she talked about the amount of 151.23. How was it allocated? What government did was an intervention in the real estate, in what they call the real sectors of the economy. Our own type of business did not benefit from that, so we didn't get any support. Then also Hamza mentioned the issue of variations, percentage variations on result at a glance. Thank you, we'll do so. And like we have said earlier on, the dividend was declared from the reserves because of the accounting rules. But in actual fact, we actually had profits made. Thank you all for appreciating and welcoming our new directors on the board. And also a commendation to our former board members, Sam Wanze and Ms. Yinka Ogunsilero, that retired. You know, so we want to commend them for the work they did, you know, while working with us. There was also a question on the Falomo shopping complex. What are we doing? The position is this: we had a Falomo shopping complex agreement with the government about 6-7 years ago to do an office complex, which you all knew we couldn't continue because of also the government cancelling the process and so on. Now, over time, we've been engaging with the government on what to do next and so on. We're still on that engagement, but recently we had an understanding that we can still do Falomo, but not the residential complex that we had, the commercial complex we had in mind, but a bit of a mixture of some residential and commercial. So what you have now is what we call the Falomo Towers. That's the new project we're going into with LSDPC. When it's finished, there will be some residential section, there will also be some office section. And we believe that with the momentum now, with the government giving the green light and all the things that you know your company can do, this one we'll hope will be a success. Now, it's a project where when it's ready, or as the construction is going on, some of the offices and residential will be offered to people to buy. So it's a good investment to have an apartment in the central part, of the city. So please watch out for that. There'll be more. You're going to see more flyers coming in. But we've noted comments by shareholders that we should do more on the social media, so that those who are not even in this country can actually, be able to see areas they can make investments. So that will soon be in the press and also on the social media. So thank you once again for that. Our tax consultants are doing very well, and auditors are doing very well. So I don't think there's anything much that we can say that we've not done. But like I've said, the tax issue we have is the deferred taxation, which, as we know, will also reverse in the subsequent years. We had comments on the dividend policy from Mr. Tunji Bamidele. Generally, the policy we have in place is that we should try to have adequate returns that will go to all our stakeholders. Stakeholders in this sense means from our employees, the government, the shareholders, and also have some good retention for the future. And so that's a policy that is ongoing. It's a policy that covers every facet, of our operation. So that will continue. It's not just going to be easy for the board to tell you we'll pay 10 kobo this year, 15 kobo next year, and all that, because a lot of things change, and you can see the way our economy, needs a lot of support. We do hope that the performance for this year and into next year will be better than what we have done in the past. On page 95, you asked for a reconciliation on the figures we have under the director's remuneration. What happens generally under accounting rules is that when you have director's remuneration, the chairman's figure is stated and other directors. Then you now break it down into fees and allowances. So that's what has been done there. We have noted the request from Audit about breakdown of charitable gifts. That will be done in future. Our balance sheet figures from prepayments or assets and liabilities are fairly okay for our operations, and we'll continue to improve on the numbers. We've also noted from what Mr. Boniface mentioned about administrative expenses, that we should watch that to ensure that we have adequate returns, to shareholders. On the issue of the audit fees, auditors are here. Mrs. Alivisu, you can hear our shareholders. So we do hope to continue to maintain the same level of fees, and if there are increases required, subject to changes in the economy, we will also handle it as shareholders will mandate the board to do. Chief Shobeju, please. I think maybe I stepped out. Congratulations, 89 going to 90. We hope as members of the same family will be there to celebrate with you when you're 90 next year. There was a comment on the issue of non-independent non-executive directors. We have one on the board, Bumi Akiremi, and under the rules, actually, you cannot convert a non-executive director to independent non-executive. You have to appoint completely, So we've noted the need to have more, and as time goes on, that will be done. Thank you, Sir Sonny Wosu, for making our time to attend, and we've noted all the comments you've made about the housing shortfall in the market. Ozo is going to talk about this because she attends all the programs, participates in most of the planning and so on and so forth as a sector expert on that. So she's going to talk about this generally. Gaps here and there, we know, but I think she will talk more, and we do hope that these gaps will be filled, for the populace. I want to say too that we do hope to pay better dividends, so it's a challenge to us. The board will take it back and ensure that we'll continue to improve yearly. So I think on that note, I'll ask the CEO to make some other comments.
So good afternoon. Okay, good morning. Okay, thank you. So good morning, my esteemed shareholders. Thank you very much for making out time to be with us. And we actually use the opportunity for you to come and see where we actually serve you from, to see how we've converted the former Raymond House to the iconic building you see today. Because I know some of you have not had the opportunity to actually visit us personally. So in order not to waste too much time, I'll just talk more about what Sanwo-Osu had actually discussed. He's very knowledgeable in that area, so everything he said was actually spot on. That in order for us to be able to play in that area of providing affordable homes for the middle class and the lower cadre, that we will need to work with the government. And we, like my chairman said, we've attended a lot of sessions where this has been discussed, and that as a private sector firm, we cannot do this on our own. Because if you even think about the cost of land alone, it throws the cost of purchasing these properties far away from being affordable. And like they said, federal government, state government, they own land. So they should give us some of this land so that we can now build on that, taking away the cost of land from the total cost of development will already bring down the cost of actually buying this property. That's for the lower cadre. And we're hoping that the government is listening. At least there are some states that are already doing this. And we're hoping that, you know what, as we keep talking, and then we have advocacy groups that would actually go and speak further to the government, that very soon we would have them actually give us land that would assist us build for the lower and the middle class citizens. Another thing Sir Sanwo-Osu spoke about was that we need to be able to access cheaper fund, because we know that real estate is a long-term business. So there is no way you're going to use short-term funding to develop a property that is actually long-term. And he actually mentioned being able to access bonds and other cheaper funding. And that is one of the reasons, I think it was Mr. Adeleke that mentioned the need to actually develop more of these properties, and the need for us to advertise, but then we have to have something to advertise. And then also he also said, we liquidated our loans, how does that benefit us? One of the main reasons why we had to do that was that in order for you to access cheap funds and to actually go into the bond market, they look at your books. And we found that what was holding us back was because we were really highly leveraged. So now that we have liquidated our loans, we are freer now to be able to go into that market. So even though we are feeling this short-term pain, in the long term, we're going to benefit hugely from it. And you're going to see it in the development we've actually even started. And we've started a few developments, I think about 5 this year. We have a few lined up for next year. And as we keep getting these cheaper funds like Sir Wosu spoke about, then you will see how we're going to play in that area. I'm very excited about the estates that we've actually commenced in Abuja. We've cleared, we've done the fencing to secure the land. And then we would also go to other areas, because we have people that are interested, because they know that whatever we put out there in the market is quality. Because then, yes, you do hear about a lot of people building, but when you go to see the quality of properties that they are building, you're not very excited. But when it's coming from us, you know that we've done our homework, and we'll ensure that whatever product we actually put out there will be good quality product. So thank you very much. I think my chairman has actually gone painstakingly through all of the questions. And yes, so yes, progress. I think that will be our theme. Thank you very much again for being here again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, shareholders. Before we proceed on the resolutions for this meeting, please note that voting has been done by proxy. Shareholders sent in their proxies directly to the registrars, but I will still call on the registrar, Mrs. Catherine Wosu, to guide us through the voting process, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished shareholders, I wish to confirm that we received proxies from the shareholders that are physically present at this meeting, and the votes on their proxies have been duly recorded on all the resolutions except for the election of the statutory audit committee members, which will be done by show of hands. So consequently, upon the introduction of the resolutions, I will read the result of the poll by proxy. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is the declaration of dividend of 137,390,000 naira gross. The directors are recommending a dividend of 10 kobo per every ordinary share of 50 kobo to all shareholders whose names are registered in the company's register of members as at 6th September 2022. If approved, the total dividend paid to shareholders for the financial year ended December 31st, 2021 will be 137,390,000 naira. I hereby move that a dividend of 137,390,000 naira gross in respect of the year ended December 31st, 2021 be paid to all shareholders registered in the books of the company as at the close of business on 6th of December 2022 be and is hereby declared. Will someone please second the motion? Okay.
Thank you, my chairman. My name is Pastor Lago Kisansu. I step on that issue.
Thank you, sir. Registrar, can you tell us the result of this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished shareholders, before I announce the result of the poll for the declaration of dividend, I'll give the proxy report. For the purpose of this meeting, we received 399 proxies with a total of 907,559,876 units of shares, representing 66.06% of the issued share capital of the company. For the declaration of dividend, the result of the poll is as follows. $907,559,876 units of shares, representing 100% of the votes cast by proxies, voted in favor of the resolution. There is no vote against this resolution and no one abstained. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. The next item on the agenda is the appointment of Mr. Obong Idion as a director. Obong, can you stand? Since the last AGM, the board appointed Mr. Obong Idion as a director. And in accordance with Section 274 of CAMA 2020, we hereby seek the approval of the general meeting to his appointment. I hereby move that the appointment of Mr. Obong Idion be and is hereby approved as a director of the company. Will someone please rise and second this motion?
Thank you. I, Comrade Ogunsoye, hereby second the motion.
Thank you. Registrar, please can we get the result of this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished shareholders, for the election of Mr. Obong Idion as director of the company, the result of the poll is as follows. 907,559,876 units of shares, representing 100% of the votes cast by proxies, voted in favor of his election. There is no vote against this resolution and no one abstained. Thank you.
Thank you. Obong, sit down. I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. Thank you. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is the appointment of Mr. Olubumi Akinremi as a director. Since the last AGM, Bumi, can you stand? The board appointed Mr. Olubumi Akinremi as a director, and in accordance with Section 274 of CAMA 2020, we hereby seek the approval of the general meeting to his appointment. I hereby move that the appointment of Mr. Olubumi Akinremi be and is hereby approved as a director of the company. Will someone please rise and second the motion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I, Makonju Oladayan Abdul-Yakin, I second the motion.
Thank you, sir. Registrar, please, can we get the result of the...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished shareholders, for the resolution to approve the appointment of Mr. Olubumi Akinremi as an independent non-executive director of the company, the result of the poll is as follows. 907,559,876 units of shares, representing 100% of the votes cast by proxies, voted in favor of his appointment. There is no vote against this resolution, and no one abstained. Thank you.
Thank you, shareholders. I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. As you're already aware, Ms. Yinka Ogunsole retired from the board on the 13th of January 2022 in accordance with the provisions of the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Code of Corporate Governance. Yinka was an independent non-executive director, and under the rules, she can only serve a maximum of 9 years, which she completed. We would therefore like, on behalf of the board and the shareholders, to appreciate her for all her contributions and efforts while she served on the board of the company. Thank you, Yinka. The next item on the agenda is the re-election of directors. In accordance with Section 285 of CAMA 2020, at the annual general meeting in every subsequent year, 1/3 of the directors for the time being shall retire from office and being eligible for re-election. The directors retiring by rotation and who being eligible have presented themselves for re-election are Mrs. Agatha Obiekugo and Mr. Ayodeji Adigun. I hereby move, yes, they are, but I sit down. I hereby move that Mrs. Agatha Obiekugo, who is retiring by rotation and has offered herself for re-election, be and is hereby re-elected. Will someone please second the motion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I rise to second that motion. My name is Mrs. C.O. Obidei. Madam, right done. Female for you.
Registrar, please, can we get the outcome of the voting?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished shareholders, for the resolution to approve the re-election of Mrs. Agatha Obiekugo as a director of the company, the result of the poll is as follows. 907,559,876 units of shares, representing 100% of the votes cast by proxies, voted in favor of her re-election. There is no vote against this resolution, and no one abstained. Thank you.
Thank you. I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. Thank you. I hereby move that Mr. Ayodeji Adigun, who is retiring by rotation and has offered himself for re-election, be and is hereby re-elected. Will someone please second the motion? Okay.
Thank you, Chairman, for the opportunity. The name is Abayomi Adebayo. I'm the coordinator for Passionate Shareholders Association. I second that motion. Thank you,
sir. I now put the motion to the meeting. Registrar, can you get us the result, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the resolution to approve the re-election of Mr. Ayodeji Adigun as the director of the company, the result of the poll is as follows. 907,559,876 units of shares, representing 100% of the votes cast by proxies, voted in favor of his re-election. There is no vote against this resolution and no abstention. Thank you.
Thank you. I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. The next item on the agenda is the remuneration of auditors. I hereby move that the directors be and are hereby authorized to fix the remuneration of and expenses of the auditors for the year ending December 31st, 2022. Will someone please rise and second the motion?
I do.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Registrar, can you tell us the result of this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished shareholders, for the resolution to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors for 2022 financial year, the result of the poll is as follows: 907,559,876 units of shares, representing 100% of the votes cast by proxies, voted in favor of the resolution. There is no vote against this resolution and no abstention. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, sir.
We've been talking about authorizing the directors. It's in conjunction with audit committee members in approving the fee of the external auditors.
It goes through them naturally. Thank you, sir. All right. So the resolution has been duly carried. Thank you, both shareholders. Section 238 of CAMA 2020 requires companies to disclose the remuneration of managers. Shareholders, please refer to page 96 of the annual report for details of the remuneration of managers as required by law. This is for information purposes only. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the election of members of the Statutory Audit Committee. This we're going to elect by show of hands. The directors nominated to represent the board on the Statutory Audit Committee are Mr. Ayodeji Adigu. Can you stand? And the independent director, Mr. Olubunmi Akinremi. The company secretary has confirmed that a total of 3 valid nominations were received for membership of the Statutory Audit Committee from shareholders, and they are Mr. Joshua Okore, please stand. Alhaji Wahab Ajani, please stand. Ms. Moyoshori Ayanwumide, please stand. Since we have just 3 shareholders that have been nominated validly, will someone please rise and second a motion that they be returned as unopposed?
There is nothing like unopposed. Elected.
Elected. All right. Okay, thank you very much. Can somebody who is... Lady is there. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The name is Odunuga Samiat. I saw you, sir.
Thank you. All right, since the motion has been seconded and they've been validly elected as members of the Statutory Audit Committee, yes, and seconded by shareholders, yes. I want to confirm that the following are the members of the Statutory Audit Committee of our company for 2022. Mr. Joshua Okore, Alhaji Wahab Ajani, Ms. Moyoshoro Ayanwumade, Mr. Ayodeji Adigu, and Mr. Olubunmi Akinremi. Thank you. You have all been elected as members of the Statutory Audit Committee. Be seated here. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is to fix the remuneration of directors of the company. Section 293, subsection 1 of CAMA 2020 requires the remuneration of directors to be approved in general meeting. I hereby move that a resolution empowering the directors to fix the remuneration of all non-executive directors at the sum of 35,200,000 for the year ending December 31st, 2022. Will someone please rise to second this motion?
I saw you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Mrs. Bakari Adekis.
Thank you. Registrar, can you tell us the outcome?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished shareholders, for the resolution to fix the remuneration of the directors for the financial year 2022, the result of the poll is as follows: 907,559,876 units of shares, representing 100% of the votes cast by proxies, voted in favor of the resolution. There is no vote against this resolution and no abstention. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, shareholders, I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. Ladies and gentlemen, as there's no other business on the agenda, I would like to thank you all on behalf of the board for attending this meeting and showing so much interest in your company's affairs. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Fellow shareholders, now we thank God that the era of COVID is going and it will be gone. Amen. We are going back to an occasion where the whole family will meet. And that means that at every meeting there will be SEC representatives and regulatory authorities. So we must change our behavior entirely. Because some of the things we have suffered in the course of attending AGM is because of our behavior. And they report to their regulators. So we must change our behavior. And we must make sure that we are very calm in anything we are doing. Even if anything is given to us, we should not rush. We should not be overexcited about those things. Please, because even companies will be very careful in giving you anything if you are so excited to implicate them before the, you know, our directors are deaf and dumb to their regulators. I don't want a situation where shareholders will misbehave and they will take that to punish the company that did not send them to misbehave. That's just my appeal to you, please. I want us to take it in good faith and be good behavior. Extend and exercise good behavior at every AGM. We thank God. May we never see a situation where COVID will come back. Amen. Or anything that will debar us from attending AGMs. Amen. So thank you very much.
Thank you. On that note, can we ask Sir Sonny wants to give us a closing prayer? Can we all stand, please? Thank you. Thank you, shareholders. Thank you.